Alright then, Adam, lay it on me. Best or favourite prank you've pulled on someone?
I stuck a condom to the top of someone's microwave, and when they defrosted some bacon, it melted the condom onto the bacon.
Bet that bacon tasted rubbery. Hey, I'm a comedian. When it comes to George Clooney, there are generally two kinds of videos or articles made about him. One's talking about how handsome he is, or one's talking about how much of a legendary dick he is to his friends and family. This is one of the latter.
When you say legendary dick, you don't mean that in a negative way.
No, we should clarify that straight away. Like, George Clooney is a very nice man, and we use the term dick in the most diplomatic and nicest manner possible. He's a dick, but in a very funny way, something we'll cover in a moment. But, right, I do think I need to establish, George Clooney is one of the nicest men in Hollywood. Something no better summed up than by the time he gave, I think it was either 11 or 14 of his closest friends, $1 million in cash each. Have you heard about that story with George Clooney? This is a true story, by the way.
No, I've not heard that.
Well, this story actually sounds like the setup to another Ocean's movie, because it started with George Clooney gathering some of his closest and most handsome friends into a room, in which there was a big table that all sat around with a briefcase in front of each of them. And George Clooney made small talk for a little bit before saying, "I'd like each of you to open the briefcase in front of you." And when they did, each person found $1 million in cash inside the briefcase.
Fucking hell.
At which point George Clooney explained, "When I was a struggling actor trying to make it in Hollywood, you helped me, you let me sleep on your couches, you supported me when no one else believed that I could be a success. And now that I'm a success, I'm in a position to help you in the same way. Use this money, send your kids to college, go on holiday with it, do whatever you want. It's a thank you gift from me." Like, what a dude. It's like, do you know that he's in those Nespresso ads? He probably gets paid a lot of money for those, right?
Oh, I imagine so, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he does, but he doesn't take the money, he gives it to a charity, which, if I remember correctly, maintains a satellite over a border somewhere in the Middle East to make sure war crimes aren't committed.
Jesus, that's deep.
He's like, I want to use all my money to make sure shit stays on the fucking level. And on a more personal level, it's noticed that whenever he makes moves, he always takes time out of his day to learn everybody's name. He always tries to introduce himself and talk to every member of the cast and crew. And I think that's very similar to Tom Cruise. We've talked about before, does something very similar, where he always goes out of his way to speak to every single member of the cast and crew, to the point where there's almost nobody working in Hollywood who has a bad word to say about either of them. And I'd like to contrast that with all the stories out there of just James Corden being a huge fucking bellend.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
And so people don't know what we're talking about. There is a long-standing industry rumour that the reason James Corden no longer works on British television is because he's such a massive bellend, nobody wants to work with him. So he had to go over to America. And there's this great fucking interview / game he played with Jimmy Kimmel, who's probably the opposite of James Corden in the sense that Jimmy Kimmel is a super nice guy to all his staff. There's a game him and James Corden are playing where it's you need to answer a question or you got to eat something awful.
Yeah.
And the question he asks James Corden that makes him just sweat with fear is, name one of the camera people working in this room right now. And James Corden just can't answer it.
Yeah.
It's name one of the people you've worked with every day for the last year, and he can't.
Name 2 of the cameramen in this room.
Bringing it back to George then, what is it that makes him such a lovable dick?
It's just, he loves playing pranks. And the pranks he plays, range from just, innocent and hilarious to so well orchestrated, they might as well come, straight from the script of an Ocean's movie. To start with examples of small, innocent pranks, you have placing a bumper sticker, which simply read, "Small penis on board," on the back of Brad Pitt's car.
Oh no.
Which is amazing. And apparently Brad Pitt is on the receiving end of so many George Clooney pranks, and especially pranks involving bumper stickers, because George Clooney has said, whoever looks at the back of your car.
Yeah.
And we've talked before about when he put one on the back of Brad Pitt's car that just said, "Fuck cops," with a big weed sticker. And Brad Pitt was getting pulled over all the time and couldn't understand why. In the same vein, the small penis on board one. He said, he was on a movie with him, and he said, every time I drive in, there's more people than usual. beeping at my car, recognising me, and I'm not sure what's going on. So obviously they're reading the small penis bumper sticker, beeping, driving past, realising it's Brad Pitt, who's thinking, oh, they've recognised me and waving at them. Another one that he did with Brad Pitt, like, this is fucking brilliant, is he got a load of stationery, like with Brad Pitt's name on it, and sent letters to random celebrities.
Oh no.
Including one to Meryl Streep saying, oh, I heard that you need a dialect coach. People don't know how these, like, Meryl Streep is known as like one of the best, like, you know, actors in regards to like being able to emulate accents in the world today. And he said,
absolutely.
And he sent her a load of like advice. Like, yeah, here's the guy who helped me with my accent for Troy.
I've sent letters to lots and lots of people from Brad. And it's that you don't tell either of them. I don't tell either, no. I later, like a year or 2 years later, I let them know, and then they're like, are you kidding me?
Then you have the time he put 15 pounds of gravel in Bill Murray's bag.
Fucking hell.
Just so he had these unexplained big heavy packages in his bag when he was going through customs.
So what are like the Ocean's 11 standard pranks he's done?
Well, my favourite one of those is the time he leaked to the press that Brad Pitt was going to get married. He wasn't,
right.
But like George Clooney, like, you know, had the, like, you know, the connections to, like, you know, leak that information, and then he spent thousands of his own dollars arranging to have like tables and chairs delivered, so that when, like, you know, the press flew over in helicopters, it looked like someone was setting up like a party in his back garden. And do you know what the best part about that is? Like, he arranged to have all this happen just when the place that's been, I think, Lake Como was about to have like torrential rain for 2 weeks straight.
Oh, fucking hell.
To make sure that the paparazzi and press that turned up stood out in the rain, and they apparently waited for 2 weeks before they realised it wasn't happening.
When I saw this article, it stood out to me because it's mental. Like, what's this about him like shitting in a cat tray?
Well, this story takes place in 1993, and it might be one of George Clooney's favourite ever pranks, or at least it's the one he talks about the most. So to set the scene, George Clooney has just broken up with his wife, and he's moved in with a friend of his. Obviously, you know, it's a rough time in his life, and his friend's like, you know, helping him out. But George Clooney decided, well, I need to cheer myself up, so let's play some pranks. And he decided that the target of his pranks was going to be his friend's cat. And what George Clooney did is every single day he'd wake up and sneak into the bathroom where the cat's litter tray was and scoop up all the poop, put down some new like kitty litter, smooth it all out so it looks like it hadn't been used, and then go back to bed. And he did this for so long that his friend eventually started to get worried that there was something wrong with his cat and went to the vet and got some cat laxatives.
Oh, God.
And according to Clooney, he continued to scoop up the poop for another few days after that, focusing on this cat litter tray with the kind of laser-like precision only afforded to a man who's desperately not trying to think about his ex. And the final stage of his plan came when his friend revealed to him, look, I'm really worried about my cat. My cat is not pooping. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to take it to the vet. Like, you know, and get some surgery done on my cat because it's probably so full of poo right now. So what Clooney did is, when his friend went to sleep that night, he snuck into the bathroom and coiled out a perfect human turd into the cat litter tray.
And then I went in there to scoop it up, and I don't know why I'm doing it, it's just striking me as funny. And then I took a shit in a cat box.
So I'm guessing what happened next then is that his friend just found this massive shit.
Yeah, but according to Clooney, the thing that made his sides go into orbit is when he heard his friend walk into the bathroom, come to a dead stop, and then loudly exclaim, "Oh my God, Kitty!" Can you imagine? He's got his tiny little cat, and you go into the. It's not pooping like a week in your eyes. He goes about this like human-sized, ginormous turd just right in its cat litter tray. He just looked at his cat like, "Oh my God, Kitty, no!" And the story gets just a little bit better, Adam, because do you know what that friend did after noticing his ginormous man poo?
Oh God, what?
They ran to get George Clooney to show him.
Oh no.
To show him how big the poo was. And George Clooney's like, "Wow, big, eh? Man, that cat must have been, that cat had a rough day." Oh, what a fucking ledge. Oh man, and like to bring that back, see what we mentioned, like there was a Jimmy Kimmel thing. Jimmy Kimmel, like, is a super nice guy to all his staff, and you know when all the lockdown stuff started?
Yeah.
The first thing he did is he paid all of his staff out of pocket to make sure they kept their jobs and they kept, like, you know, financially secure. Have you heard like a story about like Ellen?
No, I've not heard the story.
Oh, well, basically, she told all her staff to get fucked. And they were asking, "Oh, are we going to get paid?" And she's like, "Nah." And they're just like, there's so many stories about her just being a legendary dick, but not in like, the cool George Clooney way.
Yeah, just
where he's like, he's a lovable, roguish dickhead. Like, she's just a huge fucking asshole. Like James Corden on steroids. And the story's like, oh yeah, she doesn't let people look her in the eye and she'll fire people for talking to her. It's like, how dare you talk to me? And I just wonder, like, why can't everyone just be like George Clooney?
I had one comedian when I used to be manager at my old job, and he walked into our stage door, kicked off with whoever was on stage door, and then when I went down to see him, I said, "You all right?" He just went, "Well, you're fucking looking at me with that gormy face," and I was like, "Great, well, this is going to be a great working relationship."
Oh man, I just don't get it. I don't understand, like, what gets into people's heads. Like, the example I was is George Clooney. Like, he is one of the most recognisable, famous men on the planet, and even he takes time out of his day just to be like, a human being.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Tom Cruise, whatever people say about him, he's one of the most successful, famous people on the planet, and he's still nice to the people who bring him a cup of coffee. The stories you hear about like other celebrities, like how are they fucking famous? Like how do they continue to be successful or famous when like this is the way they'll treat people?
It's so bad.
Like, that Ellen DeGeneres one cracked me the fuck up because it's just like the stories make her sound like a supervillain, like snapping at people for like looking her in the eye. Given what you used to do for a living, like you might be familiar with like the crazy stories you hear about like celebrity riders.
Oh yeah, I've had some daft ones, mate.
Like the crazy things they'll insist on, and they'll like throw a hissy fit and refuse to go on stage.
Yeah.
If they don't have insert crazy ass impossible to obtain item. I think Madonna's got a famous one. They have to replace all the toilet seats before she comes in.
I think the worst we've had, or like one of the ones that comes to mind, was when we had the Top Gear crew. And
okay, so Jeremy Clarkson, well-known asshole. What did he request?
Yeah, his first point, like point one, was I want a brand new PS4 with all these games. And the thing is, it comes out of our budget.
Oh.
Yeah.
But the thing as well is, a brand new PS4, that means it's not even got his profile on it.
No.
Nope. What games did he even want to play?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I'd love it if it wasn't even driving games.
You know what? I don't think they were.
It was like Persona 5 or something like that. So I'll never complete this. I only get like an hour to play it for every show. I'll never get to the end.
I can't remember who it was. We had someone who requested 17 strawberries.
Why 7? It's so dumb. Like, at some point, it must just be like a dick measuring thing with celebrities. Like, what's the weirdest thing I can ask for and get?
The easiest ride I've ever had was someone who just turned to me and he says he wants a banana and a local paper.
Who was that? Who was that legend?
It's
I
one
want potassium in the news.
I've done so many shows I forget, but I just remember like just stupid little shit like that.
Oh man, a banana and a local fucking newspaper. That's amazing. That's such a good one.